I was rewatching the Simpsons movie the other day and it made me wonder, what happened to Spider-Pig?
Spider-Pig does whatever a Spider-Pig does.
I mean, he was a huge part of it. He was on every single movie poster, there were plushes of him, toys, giant balloons, cups, merchandise, everything. He was everywhere. So after being such a monumental part of the Simpsons movie, a landmark in the show's history and its promotion, what happened to him? Let's investigate. So our journey begins with Plopper's grand debut in the Simpsons movie, and after starring in a Krusty Burger commercial, he is saved by Homer from a tragically short career.
You can't kill him if he's wearing people clothes!
And it was love at first sight, with Homer even neglecting his very own son in favour for his new piggy friend, as well as ignoring Marge's fear that the pig was part of Abe's prophecy that danger would soon befall Springfield. He was too busy styling his hair.
Oh, you have so many looks.
But where there's a pig, there's also a ton of pig crap. So Homer dumps it into the already dangerously polluted Lake Springfield, thus polluting it even further, and therefore jeopardizing the entire town when it is placed underneath a giant dome. Eventually, everyone discovers that Homer was to blame thanks to signing his name on the silo, and so an angry mob descends onto the Simpsons' home in this very iconic scene. Also, during the rampage, Spider-Pig went against his very own friend, almost killing Homer by knocking over a plank of wood.
If you push that, Daddy will die!
However, this was the very last time we saw Harry Plopper before the house was destroyed. Now, there was an alternate ending which confirmed his survival as he helped Santa's little helper paint his new doghouse. Spider-Pig not only stole the film, but he stole our hearts, and so it wasn't too long before he made his first appearance on the small screen. In an actual canon couch gag, which makes it a very rare couch gag, the season 19 premiere shows the town's reconstruction post-Trappuccino, with it also reuniting Homer with his summer love.
My summer love.
I guess you forgot all about that wooden plank incident, eh? After this couch gag, the show basically ignores all the events from the Simpsons movie for the most part, so it's actually left to the Simpsons Comics to give us more clues as to the enigma of Spider-Pig. In issue number 149, titled Homer Won't Squeal, we learn that Plopper has been living his best life in nature. That's until he's found by Bart, who quickly runs away because he holds a grudge against him. Meanwhile, Krusty's informed that his Clocker sandwich is his biggest hit, all because people love the pig in the commercial. Therefore, it turns out that Krusty's entire financial future rests on finding the little piggy that went wee all the way from home. So he puts out a call to action on his show that whoever finds the pig receives $1 million. So therefore, Bart and Lisa go back to grab Plopper, putting him inside their bike basket like a little E.T. alien. They take him back home to hide him in the attic, but the ceiling caves in and he lands right into Homer's arms. And Homer is so ecstatic to see his old summer love again. But with $1 million bounty on his head, Plopper becomes the most hunted pig in history. So Homer smuggles Plopper out of the house and away in safety, but Bart and Homer fight over the pig, causing them to crash into Krusty Studios. Homer then hides Plopper under his shirt and finds himself on top of the rafter where Krusty is filming. Bart then points him out, causing them both to fall into a giant omelette. And again, Homer refuses to give up his friends until Marge asks him to choose between the pig or his family, which is a bit mean. But yeah, he finally relents, giving up his only best friend and gives Plopper over to Krusty on the condition that he's never killed and gets a sty made of gold. And luckily, Krusty agrees. And even though it was just a comic, it was still nice finding out exactly what happened to Plopper immediately following the movie, and how he'd always be treated as the movie star he was. And what's weird is that I found that the comics actually kept up with the Simpsons continuity better than, well, the very actual show. This went back to when the comics first started and why they were started. From the beginning, when co-founder Bill Morrison started the comic, he wanted the transition from watching the show to reading the comics to be as seamless as possible. This meant maintaining changes in the show like Lisa becoming a vegetarian or Maud dying, and therefore making them consistent in the stories in the comics. But I tell the whole story about this and the history with more depth in my book Collecting the Simpsons, the merchandise and legacy of our favourite nuclear family, where we have an entire chapter dedicated to the weird and wonderful history of the Simpsons comics. And we even have a foreword from Bill Morrison where he talks about how the Simpsons started and how he helped shape the comics, as well as the mountains of merchandise that the Simpsons basically vomited over toy stores all across the world. Also, you can pre-order my book now on Amazon. But let's not forget that Spider-Pig has definitely appeared a few times in the TV show as well, most frequently in cameos in non-canon episodes and couch gangs, like when Homer got a little too close to the pig in Halloween in season 19.
Trick or treat, lick my feet, your head smells like pig butt meat.
And then in one season later, season 20, he was also threatened by Huntsman Willie in a Snow White parody.
I cannot do it!
And then he later appeared on a billboard gag promoting Spider-Pig the musical. In fact, he has appeared quite a few times in the opening title sequences. In season 28, he was joined by a host of familiar faces for a couch gag celebrating the Simpsons' many pets. Also in 2010, The Simpsons pulled out Plopper's potential for marketing again when they partnered with Coke for a Super Bowl commercial, in which Plopper buried the hatchet with Krusty. Also, how have I never seen this commercial before? This actually led me down a very dark rabbit hole of all of the Simpsons commercials that I have never seen, including this Toyota one. Also, let me know if you're interested in a deep dive into these forgotten ads, because some are truly terrifying.
Including you-know-who.
Anyway, Plopper's popularity even extended into a mobile game, The Simpsons Minutes to Meltdown. This is where Homer must prevent a disaster after Spider-Pig endangers Springfield. Of course, these were just quick non-cameo appearances, but he has also popped up a few times in the regular show too. Like, as we all know, Plopper likes to get around, so we shouldn't have been too surprised to see him navigating a treacherous storm in season 24. But his first true and notable cameo following the Simpsons movie was in season 19 when Cletus' relatives presented him as a gift at Bart and Mary Spuckler's wedding. But the weird thing is that no one really paid attention to him, which is very weird considering he's kind of a big deal. Like, he even attended the 38th annual Springfield Showbiz Awards, rubbing shoulders with the biggest names in entertainment. I mean, after all, they don't honour any old pig with a spiffy plaque on Springfield's Wall of Fame. He also wound up in the service of Luigi Risotto as a professional truffle sniffer. That's until he was upstaged by Bart. Luigi has supposedly flown Plopper in from Italy before relegating him to sharpening knives in his restaurant.
Stupid pig.
I mean, no idea how he got to Italy in the first place, but hey, he's Spider-Pig. Like I said, he gets around. But his employment abruptly ended after just one taste of those forbidden truffles, which sent the pig into an addict's rampage. But after serving as a background character in several episodes, Spider-Pig finally got his time to shine and become the hero Homer always knew he was. In season 27's Puffless, when Maggie's possum friend was captured by Cletus, she rounded up some happy little critters for a daring rescue mission. Unable to make the dangerous journey on foot, Spider-Pig arrived just in time so Maggie could ride into battle on her noble steed. And not only this, but he also had some very nice web-slinging action. Maggie has always had an affinity for animals, but in this episode specifically, it really showcased her means of communicating without real speech, lending Plopper his only lines in the show to date. And I will say that him being such a hero in this episode might just make up for the whole wooden plank situation. Maybe. So yes, Maggie thanked him for saving the day, and the friendly neighborhood Spider-Pig was off on his next daring adventure. Despite his previous surprise cameo, season 28 Pork and Bums revealed that Plopper has had a home with the Simpsons ever since the movie. And it doesn't really add up, but hey, he's a busy pig and it's a cartoon. No matter where his adventures take him, he always winds up back home. But when Marge encouraged the family to give up possessions that no longer brought them joy, Homer was quite rightly horrified when asked to give up Plopper. I think Plopper's biggest enemy is Marge by this point. Anyway, he eventually relented and posted an ad on Craigslist, but wisely refused to hand him over to Snake, especially after he somehow cracked their code word.
Is it oink?
Damn it!
In order to take his pig to work and steer clear of Marge, Homer made him an officially licensed support animal, which turned out to be exactly what Homer needed.
I could never strangle a boy in front of the pig.
However, during an unfortunate incident involving barbecue sauce at the Springfield Nuclear Family Day, Plopper was seriously wounded by Mr. Burns' hounds. To avoid a lawsuit, Mr. Burns had Plopper treated at his on-site hospital and quickly took a shine to him. Fueled by a rather macabre memory of a Yale football game from his boyhood, Burns began a love affair that involved a couple's massage, a sunset horseback ride across a beach, and Mr. Smithers reading them Charlotte's Web before bed. I mean, you can't really blame him because, let's face it, the little pig is a cutie pie, but Homer wasn't planning to let him go without a fight. But it was Mr. Smithers, who was jealous of Mr. Burns' affection for the pig, who was the one who prevented another hound attack, and therefore allowing Homer to reunite with his beloved Plopper. I did think that this episode was gonna end with Plopper going off to live with Burns to explain his future absences, but no, Homer decides to keep him. Unfortunately, Plopper hasn't received another major role since his emotional support days, but he can still be seen swinging from the rooftops on the odd occasion. So as for why he's sparingly used now, I think really it comes down to the fact that you can only really do so many stories with a pig, because he's a pig that can't talk, so there's not really too much you could really do with him. Plus the Simpsons already have a cat and a dog, and even they're not really used anymore. He was fun in the Simpsons movie and they had a real role to serve, but if he kept showing up all the time in the show, then it would be overkill. And so we've come to the end of the video. Now, I still remember seeing that Spider-Pig scene in the cinema and burst out laughing. Can you believe it's been 15 years since that was last released? God. I feel old. Anyway, smell you later.